Now, drawing people is hard for some of us. So, I understand why many artists rely on the same basic face and figure again and again. Definitely, when you will try to draw something human figure, you you will see how dynamic it is. It is difficult to draw every human part like their hand, their face, their complicated face and hands and fingers. Getting it right once is difficult enough without having to reinvent the wheel each time. Definitely. So at once you want to make something at once only, it is difficult. So that's why you can use the pencil to try again and again. But adding variety doesn't require you to be a master drafts, draftsman. It just means taking a closer look at your artwork and asking yourself a few questions, such as, are all of my characters the same weight and build? Do I know each character's height? Do they all stand eye to eye? Do I keep drawing the same nose and upper lips over and over? Does every woman I draw have the same bust or hips? Definitely not. Deeper differences of face and body type help readers keep track of your cast and gives them a unique visual reminder of characters, different personalities. As your readers get to know your cast, those features will come to symbolize what each character means to them. Just as real life photos of our friends and family can recall the whole person in our memories. So, it is important when you are making your character, they should be different. Otherwise, the readers can be confused while reading your comic. So, the character's face and their personality should be different. This is what the author wants to say. Cartoony style accommodate more dramatic variations in body types. So such extreme differences have traditionally been associated with all ages titles. But in some comics cultures, dramatic stories have also benefited from them. And even realistically proportioned figures can show distinct variation in shape, size, and other features. Pay special attention to eyes. I found when I doing chart that I could highlight characters' unique qualities by giving each one a unique and easily recognized pair of eyes. So one thing that I want to tell you, I saw while I was drawing something, and even realistically proportioned figures can show distinct variation in shape, size, and other features. Pay special attention to eyes. I found when doing chart that I could highlight characters' unique qualities by giving each one a unique and easily recognized pair of eyes. So it is difficult when you are trying to draw the character's eyes because it is very deep. It has some like expressions in the eye, so you have to be aware, you have to learn all the basic things about the eye, then you will be able to uh, convey the expression. As with inner drive, sometimes a character's outer appearance can be built around a single idea. Such thematic casting can be openly acknowledged, as in Neil Gaiman's Sandman series, or just under the surface, as in Lee and Kirby's Fantastic Four. Eisner suggests using animals as a basis for characters in part to tap into readers' primordial reactions, and luckily there are a lot of animals out there to choose from. As you can see here, the animals and the humans are quite similar, and like this one also, this one and this one. It's funny, anything goes. Even after one set of the themes has been used, it can always be used again, so long as your take on it fresh. Earth, air, fire, water. So it indicating something like earth, air and fire and water. Use your imagination and you can probably come up with many such thematic groups to use. Some suggestions: the four seasons, chess pieces, the five senses, mythological figures, countries, states, culture areas, the planets, historical figures, trees, planets, toys, turrets, cards, the seven deadly signs, songs, hand tools, astrological signs. So you can see here, as you can see here, some suggestions are given here. So the four seasons. So here is some given some ideas you can use for your stories, like if you have some ideas about the five senses. Here, as you can see, the five senses you can use here. So whatever you are doing with your body, it is included in the five senses, so when you will have idea about the senses, these five senses, and you will read about this in another books, and so you can summarize everything in these five senses because it is included. And when you will go to the imagination is also kind of a different thing. You can use your imagination to understand the senses and write your stories, so that will be helpful. So it is kind of philosophy. If you have some ideas about the philosophy, so you can write your own story in an interesting way and in a right way also. Okay, of course you could also contradict those assumptions, give your readers a surprise, and puncture some real life stereotypes in the process. At times I think poetry is civilization's only rational response to the fertility of the linguistic representations. Once you have decided on a basic design for your character, you may want to lock that design in with a model sheet. This is a series of drawings of your characters from the various angles, a kind of a blueprint you can refer to when drawing. A good model sheet will usually include both full figure and facial close-ups. So if you will look at your character in your comic book, you have to make your character by the facial expressions as well as with the full figure also, okay, as well as notes on how the body constructed both under the clothes and under the skin. So it is very difficult when you try to make the human figure. So while making human figure, you have to make the you have to understand the actual how the exactly the human figure and the anatomy, and you have and also you have to read about the clothes, and you have to practice about the clothes, so that it will be, it will become your easy to design your character. Costume details: if there is a costume, as you can see here, or the different styles of clothing your characters likes to wear. Yeah, it is very beautiful. This is when you can start planning for what kind of expressive traits you would like to each characters to have. These are the various tendencies of body language, facial expressions, speech partners, patterns. Oh yeah, like that's all. This is where you get to map out the emotional territory each character operates within, and look for those two or three key expressions or poses unique to each character. You can even build your characters with certain types of expressions in mind. Slightly crossed eyes for a slightly flaky characters, for example, or a full supple of wrinkles tailor made for sneering, or a permanent slouch for a grumpy defeated personality. Now, to be honest, not every cartoonist goes to this much trouble, especially for one minor character. Some trust themselves to design characters on the fly, and many model sheets are little more than rough sketches. But whether you plan to the last detail or refer to wing it, your goal should be the same: to figure out what makes each character's unique and put those qualities front and center. These are the three components of successful character designs: and inner life, usual distinctions, expressive traits. So, what I think about the inner life, that means the creativity. You something practice, okay, and then you think about it. You're thinking about it and you have practiced on it a lot, and then you have something in your mind, and you are in your mind using your imagination power. And let me tell you first, imagination is it is a good thing that is differentiate from the you know animals. So that is, we have, the human being have imagination power. We can use this imagination power and we can make whatever we want to make, by on the copy or by physically also. So an inner life is a great thing. You can use your imagination power and you can draw something that you want. Visual distinction, expressive traits, the presents different challenges but all share a common strategy to make sure each character has a mental, visual, and behavioral territory all their own, by highlighting the differences between characters and unifying the look feel within each one, like planets kept apart in their separate orbits but held together by gravity. The readers will be getting to know your character across hundreds or even thousands of panels through small fragments of speech, sight, and action, which can add up to a single continuous illusion of human life. If those fragments do their job consistently and effectively from beginning to end, maintaining a consistent look for your cast is a part of that challenge, and another way in which model sheet can help. Don't worry about matching your art to the model sheet exactly. There is nothing wrong with a little dynamic variation. And over the years, some changes are bound to occur in the way you draw your characters. But within a single self contained work like a graphic novel, consistency is important for keeping readers in your cell. With it, you can create a sense of single characters passing through life in panel after panel. Without it, that spell can break and leave your readers with nothing but lines on a page. Drawing the same character over and over is hard work. all the more reason to pick design that are a joy to draw rather than a chore. After all, you are going to be face to face with these guy a lot. So the second thing that we're gonna learn about facial expressions, it is in fact a picture of no expression whatsoever. This is a face in which none of the facial muscles are being used except maybe the eyelid, keeping the eyes open. I asked you to describe these expressions. You could probably come up with a few words: calm, thoughtful, relevant, reflective. This might be the most common expressions of all people do it often every day. But you will almost never get to see it head on like this. Definitely, most of the people you will see while walking or while they are, you know, not very angry or not very sad or not very happy, then you will find their facial expression will look like this. Because as soon as that offer faces eyes meet your, you will probably get a reaction and respond in kind. In fact, your own expressions may have softened a bit just now simply from looking at this picture. Expression are not something we can opt out of easily as with words. They are a compulsive form of visual communication all of us use. We all know how to read and write them with our faces, but few of us can consciously reproduce them in part with much style and grace as we do in life. Yet as comics artists we need to do exactly that if we want the emotions of our characters to come through on the page. Almost any story can be evaluated by its ability to provoke emotion in the readers, even if emotions are not its primary focus. And there is no stronger conduit to your readers' emotions than through the emotions of the characters you create for them. And with your senses most notably sound unavailable to you, you will want to get the most out of the one you have. Now that's for the today's. So see you in the next video. Till then, bye. Thank you.